And welcome back to another episode of Pokemon Knowledge. On today's episode, we're going to dive a little deeper into some of the darker sides of Pokemon. But at the end of the video, I'm going to remind you guys of one of my favorite sayings. It's always darkest before the dawn. And, for as bad as the hobby has been in certain aspects, there's still so much to look forward to and so much to be happy for that I don't want this hobby to get you guys too down in the dumps. And, I want you guys all to keep your head up and remember that I'm out there with you. I'm having the same struggles, trying to get my hands on product and everything that's going on. But we'll talk about some of those problems and, be a little therapy session for everyone involved. Whether you're new to this hobby or you're old to this hobby, I think everybody's still facing the same issues, especially when it comes to supply shortages. And Pokemon had recently put out that press release more or less saying, listen, we do understand it's hard to get product. We're going to maximize our production. We're doing reprints. We're going to do everything we can to get, Pokemon products out to everyone. And yeah, that the wording of it is pretty vague because you have to immediately ask the question, what do you mean maximize production? Like, have you not already been at max production? Do you not realize the demand? So yeah, I think it was just friendly wording and Pokemon addressing the issues. And, there's a lot of issues to address right now, especially in the hobby. Think about what's bad. Scalpers are bad. We never really had to deal with Scalpers before. Scalpers is a relatively new phenomenon in Pokemon because it just didn't make sense to go buy every single product on the shelf because you can make money on it. But it is like that now. And you could break down like individual products and go through like individual packs and what's worth what. But even what's worth what, or that argument you could have had, has even stopped making sense now, and sets that have almost zero value to them. Zero value being subjected to me as what I like in sets, like I've talked about in another video. Steam Siege, look at what those booster boxes are selling for. Like, explain to me in what scenario that makes sense. But that's just the way it is, and now we have all these scalpers and people who are not true to the hobby and don't care about the hobby. They're just in it to make a quick buck. And you can't hate on them because if there wasn't the demand, they wouldn't exist. So the demand is good for the hobby, meaning when you have demand, you're going to have a larger base. For people like me and hopefully people like you who have decent collections, we are now able to liquidate a little bit of our collection and bring it to market, and we get a premium. But at the same time, we're running into the issues that everyone else is running into. Like, there's no supply on the shelves, and going into this, well, not really this year, but a few months ago, I had what I considered to be a pretty substantial PSA, graded collection, sitting at about 120 cards. Now, I sold everything out of those that I wanted to sell, more or less liquidating my collection because in my head, I had always, handled graded cards in the past, and it was pretty easy to, get a card raw, send it away for grading, keep the highest grade, get rid of my low grades, and just constantly have cards moving, but not at a light speed pace, but still a very quick pace. And then all of a sudden, these turnaround times hit. So you used to be able to send away, 10 cards, 20 cards away for grading, and so it wasn't a huge financial impact. You could even send away 5 cards, and it was still worth it, and you didn't have to wait an eternity to get your cards back. And then the PSA turnaround times hit, and it happened. It felt like it happened so fast, where you could send away a few cards, and then you just couldn't. So then it was, okay, you could only send away big bulk submissions because if you're going to send away submissions, you might as well make it worth it so you get at least a lot of cards back. And then those turned into just a make-believe timeline of maybe 6 months, maybe 9 months. So I've heard some people say possibly a year turnaround times for PSA. I don't know. I sent away my last PSA submission early November of 2020. It's middle of February, and I'm not even close to seeing that return come back. And I don't know when it's going to come back. I'm hoping in 2 months, I'm hoping in 6 months, but I don't think that's a realistic timeline for my bulk submission. And the problem with that is I'm so in the dark about where my cards are or when I'm going to receive them back. That is a very frustrating thing. So immediately I pivoted and I went to I saw the market, so I immediately wanted to get a bunch of graded cards back and rush those to market. So then I wanted to use GMA for just like this super small window because of cards that I considered quote unquote worthless at the time. If I could have them graded, I could sell them for way more than I thought they were worth. And then that window closed. Then CGC came out, and CGC I was still on the fence about because they were new. And then I sent my first submission to CGC, which was just some random bulk base set hollows I had purchased, on average price at $9 a piece. And then I watched those cards start creeping up super fast in price. There was a time not too long ago where you can get a handful of, base set unlimited cards that were in moderate to light played condition for almost nothing. And then we saw the market go. So then I sent away that bulk submission to CGC. And then within that time, I now have 5 different submissions to CGC. And they only received my first submission of those bulk cards on December 29th. When I look on my submission form on CGC, that was the day. And from only a month and a half later, I've already submitted 4 more submissions on top of that. So 5 in total. It's crazy to think about. And I have my McDonald's cards I'm sending. So now I'm sending tons of cards away, 100 cards at a time. So every time they go away for submissions, it's $700. Just the 5 submissions I have at $100, at $720 a piece, you're looking at $3,500 just in graded cards that are sitting at CGC, and hopefully those will come back soon. So you got a lot of money spread out in all these different places. And then we look at things like pre-orders. Pre-orders are really like a dark area of Pokemon collecting hobby. Definitely the most polarizing. And when I say polarizing, it's because if you can get pre-orders at GameStop, as I've told you in other videos, you get them at MSRP. But then you have a lot of these smaller retailers who have accounts with distributors, and they're selling their pre-orders at 3 times market value. So look at all these shiny fates. They're already selling ETBs at $150 right now. And I'm not talking about, Joe Smo on eBay. I'm talking about legit websites who are selling pre-orders at $150, and they will get their, product at whatever their cost is from the distributor. So, this isn't that video whether or not we can say, is that ethical? Is that fair? Are they abusing the collector? Are they just doing it to make money? Or do they have the right to do it? As the owner of these independent companies, they do have families to feed. They do have overhead. They do have stores. So we're not going to get into the morality or the right or wrong, or because there's always this simple argument whenever you bring up that it's, well, what should they do? Should they then sell it to the scalpers and then the scalpers instantly turn around and, sell it at the $150 for a Shining Fates ETB. We're not getting into that conversation in this video. Whatever your opinion on the matter, whether you're totally in favor, you're totally against, maybe you could put that down in the comments, but I don't want to dive into that too much. But, just thinking about that, think about prices on things, just insane. And yeah, it's still like a sore spot for a lot of people is think about the Hidden Fates, the reprint we got. Everybody was like, oh, Hidden Fates reprint, it's going to crush the price, it's going to kill the market. Psh, yeah, right. No one could get their hands on Hidden Fates product, It almost came as quick as you could blink your eyes. It was there and then it was gone. We're talking about shelf time, meaning if a distributor did come in and load the shelves of your local Walmart or Target, shelf time was 0 seconds, meaning as soon as they undid the chain or however your Walmart or Target set up when they're stocking shelves, they don't let you just go in and start taking stuff till they're finished. They'll load the shelves, take a photo. As soon as that photo was done, they were gone. Like, it was that quick. So, yeah, it was tough, and that's very frustrating. And then we look at, right now, just the McDonald's promos, and I try to warn everyone, McDonald's promos were going to be insane, and they were, and they are. We're only 3 days into McDonald's promos at the time of this video, but maybe, and this could be possible, knowing now how much was printed, maybe a reason why there hasn't been a lot of Pokemon products hitting the shelves as of recently is because Pokemon was printing all these cards for the McDonald's. Trying to do the math of how many McDonald's are in America and assuming each McDonald's got 3 cases, which each case carries 150 of those McDonald's promos. So you're talking 450 promos per store. At 4 cards per pack, and then you got 10,000 McDonald's. We're talking millions and millions of cards just to supply McDonald's. So how much of an effort was that on on Pokemon's behalf, just for the pure printing of those cards, to print close to, let's just say, on average, they had to print to supply all the McDonald's, and I don't know, you could fact check me on these numbers. These are just off the top of my head, but we're probably looking between 4 to 5 million Pokemon cards printed just for these McDonald's promos. How much of a strain was that on Pokemon, who was already had their backs against the wall with a lot of their supply issues? So, and then people are already talking, well, is Pokemon going to now answer the call of the McDonald's? I mean, we're talking McDonald's Pokemon promo cards are on the news. Yeah, like the news. People are talking about these cards being sold out and, this total outcry of McDonald's promos. And think about McDonald's promos already. What did it take, 2 hours for cards to be out before people realize that you can just shine a light against the packs and see whatever the holo is? And if you guys don't know that, that's important for you to know, especially if you're buying on the secondary market. They're very scannable, meaning you can because if you have bought the McDonald's promos, the packs are not like the traditional foil packs you would get in a card. They're like paper. And the print quality of the packs is very poor. It looks like every single pack is resealed just with the bends and the creases and the holes and everything that goes along with it, but it's like a thick paper stock wrapper, and all you have to do is get that top card or the front card up, and then you could literally shine a light through and read the name on the card. So now all these packs are scannable. So good luck getting Pikachus on the secondary market. Maybe you get lucky and somebody's not going to scam you, but part of this channel, I always warn you guys about stuff like that. And that's something to definitely be concerned about, is buying these packs on the secondary market and having them not be scanned, or at least, knowing what cards are in it. And it's scary to think about. So yeah, that's a dark side of Pokemon right now. We're pretty close to the General Mills promos coming. Now are we going to have a huge cereal shortage in the United States because everybody's going to be grabbing every single box of cereal? I don't know. Maybe. And who knows at this point? But we've made it to the point in the video, guys, where we're going to talk that it is darkest before the dawn. And don't get too down. Don't let this hobby get the best of you. Use all the abilities you have as an investor, as a collector, as an all-around lover of this hobby, and let that drive you. And if you're 100% into just making money or 100% into just collecting, I could understand how it would be a fight on either side. But don't let it get you down, guys. Keep your head up. Remember, everyone out there listening to this video, me included, I'm out there with you. We're in this struggle together. And if you understand the market, you understand the cards, you understand the hobby, no matter what happens, you will come out in the end stronger. And you will be stronger than all the people that drop off. And that's simple. Because if you love something more than anyone else, you will always have more skin in the game. And you will learn to adapt. You will learn to change. You will broaden your horizons, whether it's, learning about pre-orders or understanding every single store that sells Pokemon. Like, there's a lot out there. Just tonight, I went to Michael's and bought 2 packs of Vivid Voltage for $5.99. I cringed. Oh my God, in what world do we live in that I thought I would ever spend $5.99 on a single booster pack? But I did it. And I'm not going to lie, I went up to the counter and I didn't know they were $5.99 because the rack I pulled them off didn't have a price tag. But I don't know. I've gotten to the point where I was just so happy to see it. But think about what we have to look forward to. Like the new Evolution set that's come out, and there are tons of Eevee lovers out there. And Eevee cards historically are, at least evolution-wise, they're so sporadic throughout sets. Like, sure, I don't even know what the best Eevee we've had. Maybe like the Umbreon. Maybe that was like the best evolution we've seen so far, as of recently. And even that was a few sets back. So there is a lot to look forward to for that. And then with what these multiple waves that Pokemon is doing, I'm still on the fence. I don't know if multiple waves is a good thing or multiple waves is a bad thing. I do know with Champion's Path, it ended up being a good thing. I was not able to get my hands on pretty much any Champion's Path at Big Box Retail until those later waves. And then it got to the point where I had so much Champion's Path that I started passing on a lot of the product. Don't get me wrong, that could have been a lot to do with the fact that Champion's Path is not a great set, but I at least got to collect everything I wanted out of there and get it at MSRP. I just had to literally wait till like what I think maybe are the last couple waves. I don't know if they're completely done or not, So that's one thing, like maybe waves are a good thing. I don't know how that's going to look for sets. Like Shining Fates, when it first comes out, it's going to be such a crazy mad rush, especially for like the ETBs and the VMAX boxes and the tins and, everything that goes with it that people are going to want. But maybe, people will eventually financial fatigue will run into them and they just won't want to buy as much and the market will settle. I don't know. I mean, right now I don't see that happening, but I'm still hoping it does. I'm still keeping the positivity of that. And then if you guys are sitting on some vintage cards, like base set or shadowless cards, or if you're really lucky you got first edition cards, or let's just say any WotC era cards, You got Logan Paul's going to be doing that box break on Pokemon Day. That's going to be huge for the hobby. And if you guys are listening to this video today and you manage to watch enough videos to find my channel, I could already tell you right now, you're ready. No, you're not ready because you listen to this channel. You're ready because that means you're into this hobby enough that you were able to find this channel. And if you're into the hobby enough, that means you have a decent collection. And I don't care what your collection is. I don't care if it's modern. I don't care if it's vintage. I don't care if it's semi-vintage. You probably right now are sitting on cards that will appreciate an extremely lot in the very near term. And I'm not a financial advisor. Don't take any of this to heart. But I will let you know that anytime there's new blood or new enthusiasm that comes into Pokemon, prices in turn go up. And I saw it happen last year. Cards that I thought were worthless stopped being worthless. Sets I thought were worthless stopped being worthless. And if you have been preparing, like I hope you have, meaning you sent away cards for grading, you have some open stuff, you have raw cards, you have sealed products, maybe you've dabbled now, you got a little bit of vintage stuff. In the very, very near term, you're going to see returns, positive returns on all that stuff. So keep your head up, guys. If you make it through the hardest part of Pokemon, which is right now, 2020, 2021, and that's the supply issues, which is the major downfall right now. If you're able to make it through, you will come out in the end. You will be standing on the top of the mountain all alone. You're going to be the king. And I'm so happy to be part of this ride with you guys, because if I was only in this to be with you guys on all the good and not any of the bad, I wouldn't be true to you. I definitely wouldn't be true to myself. I'm happy to be in this from the start to the finish, and I hope we're all super successful. But anyways, guys, if you've made it this far in the video, you did it. You freaking did it. And I have nothing but thanks for you guys making it this far in the video. And let me know down in the comments, what do you think? Other than that, if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell notification if you are curious when I make new videos. Other than that, like, comment, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.